There are some hidden gems in Attio that a lot of people overlook, and once you use them, you won't go back. In this video, I'll walk you through 4 of my favorites: reoccurring schedule workflows, the Chrome extension, smart views, and last interaction attributes. These aren't the flashy features everyone talks about, but once you start using them, you'll see how much easier it is to stay organized and consistent. Let's get started. The reoccurring schedule feature. This feature is great for those who have reoccurring tasks. For example, maybe you have clients that you want to follow up with every week or month, or maybe you even have internal tasks that are still client or lead related. You can easily set up a workflow to have a reoccurring task at a set time so that you don't forget. You can even enroll contacts in an email sequence that at that time as well if you want it to be more automated. So whether you want to do a manual follow-up or a more automated one, this feature works for either use case. And the second feature I want to walk you through is the Attio Chrome extension. You can see I have it pinned here, and this is really helpful for just seamlessly adding contacts or companies from LinkedIn into Attio. So let's say you're on someone's profile and you decide, okay, this would be a good person to reach out to and add to my Attio instance. You can just click on Open in Attio, Add Person to Attio. Just a click of a button, and then it adds all the information that's available on LinkedIn as well. So the company gets linked and created as well, and all this information, again, that's available will be added in here. So super helpful and super neat. The third feature I want to show you is views or smart views, whatever you want to call it. I often get asked by clients, how they should organize data in Attio. And first, of course, you'll want to make sure you have the data points that are important to you. So you'll want to create those attributes that contain data that ultimately make it easier to organize. And after this, you'll want to set up views, or you can also think of these as filters to group the data as you see fit. So for example, maybe I want to create a view for these are some default views here, but maybe I want to create a view for, all companies that fall under a certain company type. First, I would need, a company type attribute, and then I can create a new view. Companies, target companies, for example. And then I can add in my columns, so the categories. If I had a company type attribute here, I can add that in. Maybe domain would be helpful, maybe their team. And then I could just filter, and it could be, in this example, I'll just use categories. So categories contains B2B. Okay, and now save for everyone, and that's your new filter. And of course, you can always convert this to an advanced filter. So if you need to add more filters for this view to really be helpful for you, you can convert to advanced filter. Maybe you want to look for all B2B companies within a certain region or with a certain employee range or size. You can do all of that here. And I find views extremely helpful for organizing data, especially once you're looking at a larger set of data. And the last under use feature I want to cover today is the last email interaction attribute or the last calendar interaction attribute. So of course you'll need to have your email synced and calendar synced to make this work. But once connected, these can give you quick visibility into when you last communicated with a contact or when you last met with them. And of course, you can just simply sort your contact list by last email interaction date to find people you haven't reached out to in a while at the top. Or even better, you can set up a workflow that reminds you to check in with them. So let's say, on a weekly basis, you want to be reminded to check in with people that you haven't spoken to in a while. You can have a reoccurring schedule trigger, which is the first feature that I mentioned in this video. And then you can look for records, that you haven't spoken to in 60 days or, before 60 days. You can play around with the conditions here depending on how often you want to be speaking to people. And then you can also add another condition here because, maybe you don't want to follow up with everyone that you haven't spoken to in a while, but maybe just a certain group of people. So that again goes back to creating those attributes that make organizing your data more easy and more seamless for you. But for example, maybe you're looking at people that are potential prospects or potential clients and you've tagged them that way in an attribute, then you can also add that as a condition here. But if we're just keeping it simple, we can leave as is this condition here. I'm just looking for people that I haven't spoken to in a while, and then I'll create a task and I can name that task check-in. Linked records could be matching people, and then the assignee could be anyone, whoever owns that person, owns that person record, let's call it. And this way you'll be reminded on a weekly basis to reach out to these people, and you won't let people fall through the cracks. So I think these are really helpful attributes beyond just, the sorting function, which is also really helpful, but then you can use these to create workflows as well. If you learned something from this video, please like and subscribe. And if you need one-on-one help, then feel free to schedule an intro call with me. My link and contact info is in the description. Thanks for watching.